Hi there, today I'm going to share with you a true story that contains a very, very important message about segmenting your marketing when you run a small business or you're self-employed. My name is Carl Craig West and I'm the author and creator of Smashing Self-Employment, the home of help for those who work for themselves, typically working from home. And if you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. YouTube will let you know when we make one of these videos, which is very regular, and we're always here to help. And if you've got something to say, please write something in the comments below. We always reply to comments. But remember also, share this out far and wide if you think there's somebody out there who really could do with hearing it. So, okay, I want to tell you this short story. A number of years ago, I was invited to be a guest speaker at a business event in the city centre of Leicester, near where I live. And it was aimed at very small businesses and the self-employed, which is great because typically that's the audience I always try and reach and always trying to help. So the whole point of the talk was to try and make sure that your marketing got the maximum bang for your buck. Now, a lot of people seem to misunderstand marketing, and it's just all about spreading the word out far and wide so everybody on their horse can see who you are, what you do, etc. But it's actually a lot more in-depth than that, shall we say. Not necessarily more complex, but there's more to it than just shouting far and wide. So I was speaking at this event, and I talked to people about, started sharing about market targeting or segmentation or reaching demographics. And there was a guy sitting right in front of me. It was quite funny. And I said, right, what is it you do? And to be fair, it was a little unfair because I should have asked for volunteers, but I just picked on him. It looked like he was going to have a coronary, poor soul. And he said, well, I'm a gardener. I said, brilliant. Who are your target customers? To which he replied, anybody with a garden. So my next thought was, okay, that's brilliant. So tomorrow you and I are going to go and knock on doors on the local council estate and see how far we get. Now, if you're not in the UK, a council estate is a social housing. And so he said, well, that's not going to work. I said, well, why not? You said anybody with a garden. Most of these folks have a garden. And he said, well, a lot of them are on low incomes, so probably wouldn't employ a gardener. I said, so right, you want anybody with a garden and some money? And he nodded. I said, okay, brilliant. What we'll do then is that we'll go to Oadby, which is a suburb of Leicester, on the very outskirts of the city, where everybody has a garden and a lot of people have money. And he said, well, I'm not sure that would work either. Well, I said, well, why not? They've got gardens, they've got money. I said, well, there's a lot of retired people in Oadby, and a lot of retired people tend to do their own gardening. I said, right, you don't want old people, you don't want people with no money, and you narrowing this down a little bit here. So we carried on through this exercise, and it turns out that his ideal customer was a working family with kids, with a garden, who love spending time outdoors, but don't have the time, but have the money, to look after their garden. So we worked out an income demographic, a social demographic, working families with kids, a geographic demographic, so it turns out there were large chunks of the city where it was never going to get particularly good traction, and also an age demographic as well. So by the end of the exercise, he realised that he was going to have to target all of the villages on the outskirts of the city, or the very outskirts of the city, where a lot of people, a lot of families live who have gardens, but they're typically busy professional working people. Now, the point of this exercise was to get the whole audience thinking about, well, actually, it's not just anybody with some money who could become a customer here. So, for example, it will be pointless trying to sell me hair care products. I have no hair. But it's surprising how much advertising I see aimed at me. And it's broadcast marketing. But that's fine. It doesn't really matter. But the thing is, they're wasting money trying to promote to just everybody. A number of months ago, I went to a local pharmacy across the road and they gave me a voucher for makeup. Now, it's been a long time since I wore makeup. In the 80s, it was the done thing, but not anymore. So giving me a voucher for makeup was actually a waste of time and effort and money because of the printed bit of paper. Now, when I got around some friends, I told them what had happened. And my friends are typically rugby players, and I asked them all, how many of you would have given that bit of paper to your partner? And not one of them said they would. So the point is that this pharmacy, a very national, well-known brand, were wasting money promoting to people who are very, very unlikely, nigh on nil probability of buying their products, buying this particular set of products. They could have done something slightly different, printed on the back, and given me something about men's hygiene, etc., and that would have been more applicable. But no, that wasn't it. The point of the story is this. We all have a target market. We all have an ideal customer. And it's important for you to try and nail this as quickly as you possibly can. So you're only promoting to those in your most ideal demographic. Because otherwise, large chunks of your marketing effort, spend and time are going to be wasted on people who have near zero probability of buying. Not saying will never, but the probability is really, really low. Now, there's a reason why car companies advertise during the commercial breaks on shows like Top Gear. They target people who are interested in cars. Makes absolute sense. Who are typically blokes. I hate to say it, but blokes typically are the ones who buy cars. So have a think about your target market. Have a think about who your ideal customer is. If you've been in business a while, you could probably have a look at who buys from you and work out some patterns there. And if you can work out some patterns, spend more time and effort trying to reach those people who meet those criteria, because those will be your typical customers, most likely to buy, most likely to warm to you, most likely to respond to your advertising, etc. But please, just don't go down the road of saying everybody with a garden, because it simply isn't true. Or or anybody with some money. It's just not true. My 11-year-old daughter has money, but it doesn't mean she's going to go and buy cigarettes. Does that make sense? She's not going to go and buy beer. Well, I hope not. But the point is, it's not just everybody. Refine your market. Work out who it is who is most likely to respond to your advertising. Look at the customers you have. Work out the patterns. If you don't yet have customers, have a talk with people. Talk with as many people as you can. It's called market research. Learn all the things you can about your target market. And I will come on another session, I will teach you the key things that you need to do when you've worked out that target market. But the point is this: don't waste time and money and effort trying to market to people who are not really in your target market. They will never buy, most likely, so you're wasting all of that spend. And I've seen people waste 90% of their marketing on people who, quite frankly, are never going to buy. That's a lot of money, especially if you're running a small business or you're self-employed. You can't afford to throw money away. But anyway, that's enough from me. I really appreciate you tuning in. Remember to subscribe to the channel, send us a comment, literally share this out far and wide. But once again, thanks for tuning in. That's it from me, and bye for now.